What is going on, friends, and welcome back to the Minecraft Hub channel. Today we are looking at some more incredible creative builds in Minecraft. These builds really showcase exactly what you can do when given all the tools of Minecraft. If you guys enjoy this video, be sure to drop a like on it, and if you're new to our channel, hit that subscribe button as well so you can see all the rest of our Minecraft content. So first up today, we are looking at a huge city recreation from Preston, and this build is the exact replica of the anime Attack on Titan. This build is absolutely insane. You can see all the pathways they have through here and the major buildings they're putting in. It's all super cool, and you can even tell just from how the world is generating that it is huge. I unfortunately haven't actually seen the show, but I have seen pictures of the city, and I know that this thing looks so good compared to that. They have the giant walls and all these buildings throughout here. I think this thing is just so cool looking. I really want to know the exact number of houses and buildings in this thing because it looks like well over 100 of them built in here, and you can see how detailed all of these are with the different types of lamps and all the blocks throughout the houses. It just looks so cool. It is so insane seeing how well people are able to replicate things from real life or shows in Minecraft, because all of this looks like it could be from the actual show. You zoom out a little bit and you don't see all the blocks and everything, and it really looks like the actual city. Next up, we have a beautiful build from Varuna. I love the colors in this build, all the autumn colors with the red, orange, and yellow in all these trees around this tower, and then these huge sky ships that they build coming out of this base as well. I just think this is so cool looking. Definitely a very interesting idea, having these sky ships just kind of flying into this base, getting ready to load up and leave. This whole build is just so beautiful, and you can see the team working on it right here. It's just so satisfying seeing this whole build come together, and it's insane to me that people are able to come up with these beautiful ideas like this. And then over here we get a huge barn style build. I really like the roof on this one. I'm not actually sure what the building is supposed to be, but to me it looks kind of like a large type of barn. I really like that roof though. I just said the little curve to it just looks so good, and I really like the design of it. And it looks like it's made with granite, possibly some concrete in there. I also really like all these yellow-orange combination colors all over here. They did a great job of combining all those colors. They also decided to build another airship on this side, which looks amazing. Of course, I love that these ships kind of use wings to fly around. It looks like they're also sitting on clouds. That's just all super cool to me. I love that idea. It's not just powered by some steampunk design. It's actually just kind of like a huge winged ship that can fly through the air and float on these clouds. This creative build definitely paints a very nice picture, and I absolutely love the final product of this with all the beautiful colors throughout here. This next build by Gentube is absolutely so cool. I love that they actually went ahead and built this whole mountain here. The whole mountain is custom built. They used a lot of world edit for it to make that part a lot easier, because building a whole mountain of this size would take a lot of hours. And while of course the mountain itself is just extremely cool, the actual part of this build, the main focus of it, is the underground village that they put inside of it. They started off with this huge custom white tree in the center. This thing looks so cool, especially once they do the texturizing of it and light it up. Of course, it's going to be super dark inside of this build, but this tree right here actually brings a lot of light to it. You can see that there's a lot of glowstone up in the leaves and things like that. And then around this whole tree, there is a beautiful white village. Of course, there are lots of woods and stones to detail it, but I like that they chose to use white for all this because it does kind of bring the build a bit lighter in this very dark area. This build also definitely has to be in creative, because I can't imagine the amount of mobs that would spawn inside of here if you're trying to do this build while in survival Minecraft. This whole build came together so nicely though. This beautiful terraform mountain on the outside, they've even got a boat out here, and then this giant waterfall in the center of the mountain is the actual entrance to the village underneath. Then inside we of course have the beautiful white tree, which you can see how it lights up this kind of whole area, and the beautiful village around it. I think this build is just so cool looking. I love all the textures and everything that they did inside of here. This build seems super like magical, but like natural. Like this tree was found and then the village grew around it as like the people worship that tree. All these builds just look so cool. This one looks really nice, especially with the lavender on the outside of it. It gives it a nice color. And all these white blocks really just kind of brighten up the inside of this cave as well. Next up, from the team that actually built the Cyberpunk City, Elysium Fire, we have this dark factory, and I absolutely love this. It's a definitely completely different style than the last build we just looked at, where it was natural and magical. This one is very industrial, but also very dark as well. Of course, the build is absolutely massive with a ton of beautiful details. Absolutely love these power lines as well, with the iron bars that they use there. And this factory is just so cool looking and so dark. I definitely think they titled this factory very well. Being built right at the back there is a giant horse. This thing is so cool looking. I love all the dark blocks that they use for it. They've of course got some red eyes on it as well, and it looks like some flames coming out the back. Definitely a very interesting build here, and it really makes you wonder what exactly this factory is producing. This build is absolutely insane though, with all the details that they have everywhere. The trains, these huge buildings, they even have an octopus coming and battling with some ships that you can see are firing missiles at it. There is definitely a lot going on with this build, but it is so cool looking. Definitely another job well done from the team at Elysium Fire. They've built some crazy things, as I've mentioned, Cyberpunk City, which we've looked at in the last video, and they have some more builds over on their channel, so definitely go and check them out. All the links to the channels we're featuring today will be down in the description below, so you can go and see all their builds for yourself. Next up, we are checking out one of the most dedicated creative builders out there, and that is JaredCraft. He has built so many cool things over the years. This project right here, he has actually been working on for about 9 years now. This is the Kingdoms of Greymane, and over time, he's just been adding more and more to this world, and it just looks so good. Right there is of course a huge cathedral that he built. They actually finished up the interior on as well. He also does a ton of detail work around this whole thing, and it is just so cool seeing this kingdom come together over so many years. You can actually go and play on this world for yourself. All his worlds and builds are in his Patreon, so if you go and donate to that, you can actually have access to all his worlds, which I honestly think is worth it because some of these are just so cool looking. There's also lots of things in this city that you don't really see from the start, like this sewer system underneath, which is absolutely huge. It has, of course, the sewer water, and then tons of builds around where there's storage, things like that. He's lit up the whole thing and put in ladders so you can get around and access the whole thing. He's also done a ton of upgrades, as you can see. He's got some before and afters of things he built years ago and then decided he wanted to kind of revamp recently. I think these new watchtowers look so good, and I love all the additions of wood throughout here. I think it gives a few little pops of color that this little thing needed. We've featured a lot of build teams today like Elysium Fire, but this world right here is just him. This is built all by him in this world, and I think that is so cool. It really shows how much you can do if you have the time and dedication to a single world, and you can do that over many years. Now, last but definitely not least, Trixie Blocks. This build is so cool. He has a ton of builds on his channel as well, but this build right here is one of my favorites of all time. This, as you can probably tell from the terraforming the plants and the block palette, is a huge ocean kingdom. I think this is just so cool. I love seeing builds that are meant for the ocean, and especially with these types of block palettes. I love all the blues and whites. I think it all looks so nice together, and this one especially, it looks so good. You can see all the work he's done to kind of terraform this land right here, adding in all the different corals and things like that. This thing really looks so cool. And of course, if you have a giant ocean empire, what better than a kraken to take down all these ships that are sailing above you. This thing just looks so cool. I love how the tentacle wraps around this boat right here, and you can see it is just sinking it down to the bottom of the ocean. This build is absolutely crazy though. It definitely took a very long time to build, hundreds of hours, and it turns out looking So good. Definitely one of my favorite builds of all time. That is all that we have for today's episode, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, be sure to drop a like on it. And if you want to check out any of these channels that we feature today, all the links are in the description down below. So go and check them out and give them some love as well for these amazing builds. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.